Okay, so we are at -1. So, I mean, our issues there... Okay, so now actually we can look at enacted. So, expansion, it's +2. So, we'll be getting a +1. It takes, 3 turns. It's 1 turn in. That's fine. It's fine for... Like, as long as we don't spend any energy, we're okay. Like, and there's something I can do to give me more energy, right? Where's my dockyard? Like, we do need this. Oh, shit. 2 energy per turn on... It's so expensive! 2 energy per turn? And we're poor as hell? Energy heating, -2 energy per turn. Prioritizing welfare gives energy. Is it a one-time +1 energy? Oh, no, the Wiseman doesn't like it. By proposal of the Rizia National Coalition, this royal decree transitions a minority of the welfare, health, and education services to the private sector. This pivotal move seeks to harness private sector efficiencies, reducing energy cost, thereby promising enhanced service quality and tailored solutions to the citizens of the land. While many businesses in the community anticipate opportunities for growth, certain societal functions or factions, especially the average citizen and Rizian People Party, might harbor concerns over the negative implications of such privatizations. +1 admin balance. So I guess we can then have up to maximum of 16. Ah, sure, fuck it. There we go. Sign the decree. So we're at least not losing energy now. Privatize crown lands is not something that I want to do. Orange. The Brosnaz energy. So you give me energy as well. -2 authority, which I don't care about. Budget is here so we can spend money on it. And it gives us... Okay, I see. I mean, the energy capacity doesn't do anything for us right now because we're like nowhere even near the cap, but we'll sign this into law. And it only takes 2 turns, so this will finish at the same time as the oil field, which I think is good. Anything else we can do with order, welfare, repress? What am I, a fucking loser? Can I buy energy? Buy weapons. What are we buying? If we buy well, I mean, this is all selling. Bombers, 3 budget, 2 authority. I mean, what we need is we actually need some trucks. Like we actually need some support vehicles. But it is a little expensive. So we gotta wait a little bit on that. And then I need... -2 is so expensive. You think the dam is good? I'm assuming that's in here. Ooh, +3 energy. But I don't have money. But I'll have money next turn. Next turn I will be in the positive. So you know what? That sounds good to me. Okay, what's going on in the news? Construction begins on the Brosnaz Energy Storage Project. Construction is commenced on the new energy storage facility in Brosnaz, a strategic move by King Romus Toras to bolster Rizia's energy security. The state-of-the-art facilities will store surplus energy generated during peak production periods, preventing storage during high demand and sufficiently reducing upkeep cost. We love to see it. Overseen by Chancellor of Treasury Alina Werner, this project aims to modernize the nation's infrastructure and promote efficient resource use. And welfare are partially privatized. The palace announced in their latest press briefing that a minority section of the Rizian welfare system will be run by the private sector in the near future, with preparations for this already underway. This major overhaul is expected to greatly enhance service quality, allowing the private sector to offer specific solutions catered to individual needs, while at the same time reducing government costs. Many business leaders are already expressing interest in taking over more duties within the healthcare and education sectors, and are believed to be in active communication with the palace over future opportunities. Naturally, key elements of the welfare system will remain under oversight and control of the crown. Initial proposal came from the Rizia National Coalition, further demonstrating the Crown's willingness to listen and cooperate with representatives of the Rizian population. It is a landmark decree that will surely overhaul our nation for the better. See, this is why we like the Royal Herald, man. They will just always say nice things about me. People's Security Office announces foreign meddling. In the wake of widespread protests across Yurzistan, Zortiek, and Slovaria, the People's Security Office of United Catan has accused Arcasia of orchestrating the unrest. Spokesperson Istel Verkiez claimed that Arcasian agents have infiltrated these regions for years, and sowing resistance and misleading local groups into chaos under the guise of capitalist intervention. He stated that most Libra cells and agitators have been apprehended, with confessions allegedly confirming their foreign ties. Barkas emphasized that United Katana's internal affairs are not the concern of other nations and reaffirmed the unity of the state. He announced plans to use back channels to present evidence, including captured spies, to the Alliance of Nations. These provocations will not weaken our sovereignty or our revolution, he concluded, defending the state's actions as necessary to maintain order and security. The CSP investment strategy in Nibia is bearing fruit, significantly alleviating poverty in the nation, poised for a renaissance under the leadership of Antanur Lerefe. The Democratic-elected leader bolds a promise to eradicate poverty within 8 years, mirrors the CSP's commitment to economic development as a diplomatic tool. Amidst the simmering tensions of regional conflicts, the CSP's investment in Nibia is not only a humanitarian effort, but also a strategic endeavor to cultivate a reliable ally, ensuring stability and support in a critical geopolitical nexus. CSP, please invest in Rizia. They're too busy spending all their money in Valand, unfortunately. In Monkeys, acting Duke Romus Toras welcomed the Heart of Sorlin co-owner Marcial Caranti for a visit to the still under construction Caranti Resort, Vadakiris. The business magnate expressed his approval for the resort's progress and his eager anticipation of its opening. Will they pay me? Are they going to give me cash? I don't even remember. The Palais Administration District was once more allowed to organize its annual Vagslands Heritage Week, a festival celebrating the region's history as part of the Valagos Empire. Accompanied by controversy since the Rizian reconquest and the resettlement of the district, it was especially contentious this year due to the events of Friendship Day in Ziel, which sparked security concerns. However, the week seems to have proceeded peacefully, with only a few clashes between local Rizians and a few Vaglis of Palaisian heritage. What about you guys? Unfriendly, you're strong, 6.8 million, 27th in the rank of the world GDP. We can beat them, right? We can kick their ass in due time. The Kantovo Vineyards of Kielis welcome Swordish oligarch Walter Tusk and his family, who spent the night at the winemaker's luxury villa before continuing on a short tour to Valakiris wine country. Tusk confided that his newfound interest in the region was inspired by recent availability of Rizian wine in Sorland. Under the authorization of the King and War of the Security Council, Lucitia Zaro, a team of investigators have been dispatched to Ziel to uncover more information about the recent Friendship Day attack. Valen has been informed about the presence of Rizian intelligence and promises full cooperation with the investigation. See, look, they're not even mad about it. In a bid to strengthen international relations and fortify alliances, it is proposed to send a diplomatic envoy to the nation of our choice, Palais, Valand, Dirdia, or Morella. The success of this mission could lead to enhanced trade, cooperation, and mutual understanding. Well, let's see. Okay, let's go to the world map, please. I mean, Morella is our neighbor. They don't like us, and they're strong, 17th in the world in terms of their economy. Dirdia, unfriendly and strong, 28 million. Valand, neutral and okay, so they're not as mad as they were once before, so that's nice. And of course, Peles, we don't like them, so we're not going to give them that anything. I mean, my gut says that we try to maybe make more relations with Morella. But I don't like. I'm trying to think. Dirdia, we don't like Dirdia because they're Golcondas, right? So no, we don't like them at all. Valand, I mean, I guess it makes sense. Maybe they get Valen still on. We still want Valen to like us. Right? We still want them to be friendly, so they give us back our territory. Sure, we'll send them to Valent. I think it makes sense. What about drugs here? The inland crossroads city, known for its bustling markets and vital transport links, has become a key hub in the regional drug trade. Smugglers exploit its roads and rail networks to move narcotics, often hidden among legitimate goods. The local economy thrives on this flow of commerce, blurring the lines between lawful trade and illicit activity. Encourage vigilante justice through local communities. I mean, I guess we'll just do this one? You know, we'll see how that goes. Valent still is neutral, okay. But we're trying to make some more amends. In the news, protect Argnos, vital trade routes from criminal exploitation. The Crown has ordered random inspections along key transport networks. These bright checkpoints are aimed at catching smugglers off guard, reinforcing security without giving traffickers time to adapt. Officials emphasize that the strategy is essential for maintaining the city's integrity. Residents and business owners are encouraged to cooperate with the inspections to support the effort against illegal activities. Safeguarding Argnos' commerce means assuring that only lawful goods pass through the city's borders. Hello, Barrington. How are you? Little sip. Okay, let's go to Isa. After months of promises and scheduling conflicts, Bean and I were finally on our way to visit my cousin Rico Toras in his palace in Isa. The city's main road was straight and impossibly wide, a relic of Markian times when the city was a major trading center. I waved out the car window to the crowds of citizens lining the road. Up ahead loomed the domed library of the university. I noticed most of the people who come out to see us were native Rizian. Even on the streets of the city's Vejne quarter, little Vroklovitz. I passed a street cleaner who was rapidly trying to scrub graffiti off of the side of the building. I can just make out the remnants. They read, "House Toras will fall." Bina didn't seem to notice. She looked lost in thought. Hugo's meeting us here too, right? Why do you think they wanted us here so badly? I mean, the invitation coming so soon after the Zeal incident is no coincidence. I'm doing well, Barrington. I don't think Barrington. There's no R. There's no G in that. I can't even remember the last time cousin Rico and I properly spoke. When we were children, maybe. We rode on until we reached Palais Sazon. Under Rico's stewardship, a formidable-looking iron gate had been constructed around the otherwise tranquil palace complex. His security led us through to the Duke's residence, a blindingly white building with the flags of Rizia and House Toras hanging out from every window. We walked up to the doors. As soon as the guards opened them, a pair of long-nosed Rizian hunting dogs raced towards us, barking. I'll pet the dogs. Bella, Bruno, sit! Both dogs promptly sat at attention, still as statues. I heard the sound of boots on tile as my cousin Rico approached. He was wearing an olive green tweed jacket and a flat cap. He gave me a quick bow of acknowledgement, then knelt and kissed Vina's hand. I was struck by his transformation from a gawky, insecure teen to a broad-shoulders, preternaturally confident young man. Welcome, my cousins. It has been far too long. We discovered you from the Suzerain Sorlin campaign. Well, I'm glad to have you here. Okay, so it has Rico. You're looking sporty. Oh, did father not tell you? We're going hunting. What? I didn't know that. Hugo appeared to be from behind his son, a sheepish look on his face. Your first hunt as king. I want it to be a surprise. I played enough Crusader Kings to know that this is a bad idea. Okay, you know what? You know me too well. Go shoot something. As His Majesty proclaims, show as shall be. I already equipped myself. He turned around and showed us a KA-74 semi-automatic rifle strapped to his back. Hugo turned up his nose disapprovingly. You're going hunting with an AK-74? Crazy man. Isn't that cheating? Boars are speedy bastards. You'd be surprised, Your Highness. He smiled rakishly at my daughter. We have outfits prepared for the two of you. And your weapon of choice, of course. It'll be a good old-fashioned rifle for me, thank you very much. Hugo smirked at his son. You see, boy? There's still real gentlemen in this world. I do wish I had known about these plans. I've never so much as even held a gun before. Come on now, I'll teach you. It'll be fun. Inside, V and I quickly refreshed ourselves and changed into the hunting garb that had been laid out for us. We stepped out to find 2 waiting jeeps. Where are we going hunting? Like, isn't Isa like a little city-state inside of Brednes? What are we hunting? Okay. Duke Rico. Who do we want to ride with? Do we want to share a car with our daughter, with Rico? Or, I don't want to be with Hugo, though. Hugo, we're not going to worry about Hugo. Okay, you know what? We'll ride with Duke Rico. I have much to discuss with him. Rico nodded. An aide held the door open, and we hopped into the first car. East of the palace, the landscape quickly turned hilly and green. We were entering the Brednes Forest Estate, a private hunting ground reserved for nobility only. I turned away from the window to see Rico looking at me intently. You must already know what I'm about to say, Your Majesty. I knew you didn't approve of the company I keep here in Isa, but to accuse us, them, terrorism. I mean, they might be terrorists, okay? That's not like a crazy. I'll be honest, I don't like any of these options. I am trying to avoid an international incident. Well, I humbly request that you try harder. Whatever you may think of us, Suamina didn't plan the ZL attack. A light smirk formed on his face. Though I can't say I wasn't happy to see those Vejniks get what was coming to them. Okay. I was coming to you, Victoria, on that talk. For heaven's sake, son, have some respect for the dead. Excuse me, Your Majesty. The point is that President Smolak's accusations are based on nothing. Just his own vendetta against us. But if you want this mess cleaned up in time for ZL to be returned, I think it can help you. How? He cleared his throat. The people of my organization are loyal to me, Your Majesty. Very loyal. If 1 or 2 of them were to confess to the attack as a splinter cell acting independently of both Suamina and the Crown, it'll solve both of our problems. Okay. I don't think they're stupid. They'd uncover the truth. None of the truth is that Valen itself was behind the attack. My hunch is they're counting on Rizia to deny the crime so they can postpone the Zeal handover. By handing over my men, we'd be calling her bluff. But, like, what happens if it comes out that, I don't trust the loyalty of your men, to be quite honest. I appreciate the gesture, but I can't condone this. Understood, Your Majesty. He winked. That feel when you volunteer to be tortured by the Valen secret police? That is not code, Rico. Come forth with false names and I'll have your head. Oh, never mind then. Oh, now that it's me that might have to get tortured, suddenly it's a bad idea. Suddenly it's like, oh, I don't want to do it. If it's my head on the line, I don't wanna. You know? I have no interest in that. If it's somebody else getting tortured, I'm all in, baby. I'm all in. Me though, nah, that's somebody else's problem. That's not for me to. I'm royalty. I can't be tortured. I'm just a little royal. Okay, well, how are you faring as Duke of Isa, my cousin? Be honest. Rico eagerly turned back towards me. I'm sure you've been kept abreast of the situation here, Your Majesty. The drugs, the violence, the open resistance against our government. I am concerned indeed. What can I do to help? I'm glad you asked. I've heard that in times of emergency, police from the Rizian Central Forces can be placed under individual leaders' direct command. I petitioned your War and Security Counselor for such a transfer, but she refused. Okay. You should be cooperating with the greater province of Brennus. I mean, you should be cooperating. You mean with the Suzerains? He snorted. They can't be counted on to cooperate. If anything, they're actively plotting against us. I'll send you a petition when we are both back at home. I trust you do what's best for our city. We pulled off the road and continued some distance on a dirt path that wound through the pines. He came to a halt at the mouth of the grassy clearing with gently sloping sides. Hunting blinds lined its perimeter. It vaguely resembled a gigantic serving vessel. At last! Enough politics talk. We disembarked and Rico eagerly unlatched the back of our jeep. Bella and Bruno hopped out and started sniffing the air. Caught the scent already, my dears? Must be a dozen boars out there. My car pulled up next to us. Hugo and Vina got out, still in conversation. So you see, your highness, knowing how to aim and fire a gun correctly is as useful a royal skill as knowing how to hold a salad fork. Okay. Keep at it, Hugo. You make 100s out of my daughter yet. With her instincts, she'll be the finest shot this kingdom's ever seen. He waved his son over. But I bored you enough, your highness. I believe Rico is going to show you the ropes. I would be delighted to, if the king permits. He extended his hand to my daughter. It's not my decision. Do you want to go with him, Vina? Yes, I love to. We didn't get a chance to speak at the coronation. Vina took Rico's hand. With a smile, she picked up their guns and walked over to one of the blinds, dogs in tow. Hugo shrugged. Two of us it is, your majesty. An assistant handed me a rifle, a Rizian-made Dator 56. It was more awkward to hold than I expected. My son may aim for quantity, but men like us know quality is the key. He locked and loaded his own Dator rifle. Its stock had gold and Bow's bull on it. We climbed up to the hunting blind opposite the Vina and Rico's position. And now we play the waiting game. There was a long stretch of silence, punctuated only by the chirp of birds and the occasional bark of Bella and Bruno in the distance. I may not like Rico's hunting methods, but his dogs are second to none. They'll dry the boars out in no time. Okay. Can't help but think you have an alter. You know what? Rico's a shrewd kid. He takes after his father. You're too kind. He calmly aimed his rifle towards the glade. So you consider him as a marriage prospect for your daughter, then? Shockingly enough, the thought never crossed my mind. That is indeed shocking, your majesty. As you know, there are interests both inside and outside of this country that will seek to snatch Rizia away from House Toras. Consanguinity wouldn't be my first choice either, but it's the only way to keep our family in power. Okay. Let's see how they get along before we make any wedding arrangements. Fair enough. Rico can be quite the charmer when he sets his mind to it. As your uncle and your advisor, this is my advice. You may follow or disregard it as you choose. Just then, we heard a rustling sound coming from the woods. Bella and Bruno had found their quarry. A group of boars raced to the clearing, the dogs nipping at their heels. Working in tandem, they forced our prey to the lowest part of the glade. I looked through my gun sight. I fixed my crosshair on the group. I'll shoot a boar. I took aim and I pulled the trigger. I struggled to keep the gun steady as it fired. The shot went wide, and the boar scattered in all directions. Been too long, hasn't it? Allow me. If I had an AK-47, this wouldn't have happened. In one swift motion, he aimed and fired his rifle. The large of the boars fell to the ground. As he turned away to reload, I heard a series of rapid-fire bangs coming from Rico's direction. I looked back at the blind and see the ground littered with dead boars. Not very sporting if you ask me. By the end of the hunt, I had 0 kills. Hugh had 6, and Rico had racked up a dozen. He and my daughter were deep in conversation. They climbed down from their blind. I was thinking, like, can I shoot the dog? But okay. Also, bear. Should I be afraid? Yeah, you can be a little afraid. If there's any bears in Rizia, by God, they're getting mowed down by this guy. Rizia this, Rizia that. I'm telling you, if the valence of war had happened while grandmother was still in power, she wouldn't have set out to welcome mats. No, Lizzie would have been honored of Rizia and Valen's long history of cooperation, and showed compassion to all those who suffered. You naive little girl. Everyone in Merkopa wants what we Rizians have. The Vajniks saw a chance to get it, and they jumped on it. He flung his gun into the ground in frustration. I'm afraid your daughter didn't shoot a damn thing on today's hunt, Your Majesty. She's too busy distracting me with her nonsense opinions. Women, am I right? You know, you've done well enough for all 4 of us. Congratulations. He seemed to collect himself for a moment, then smirked. Thank you. I wish I could say the same to you. Excuse me. As a pet or as a rug? Maybe as like a, what about like a nice sweater? How's that feel? Rico and Hugo posed for photographs next to the boars that they'd killed. The assistants began packing everything away. We'll eat well tonight. The chef at Palais Zazon does an excellent braised boar with wine sauce. Rico, Vina, why don't the 2 of you go ahead and notify the kitchen staff? His Majesty and I will be right behind you. Vina gave me a pleading look. You know what? Why don't you go with your son, Hugo? I'll accompany the princess. Hugo raised an eyebrow. As you wish. Come along, Rico. Vina silently thanked me as Rico and Hugo departed. We climbed into the second jeep and headed back to the palace. Dinner that night was indeed delicious. Excellent. Imagine wanting to marry your daughter to this little piece of shit for real. Just cause he brings an assault rifle to a hunting game, you don't see the vision. In a move that has sent ripples through international journalism circles, the State and Security Service of the United Katana has commenced surveillance on Geopolitical's Kiev office. The scrutiny, public denounced by Assistant Secretary Tokelzintli Iatoke, betrays fractures within the Katanan government, with a decision by Chairman Maliev drawing fire from its implications on press freedom. This act of state oversight signals an ominous trend in United Katana's treatment of the press, raising alarm bells about media liberties and transparency within the nation. Okay. He's got aura. Not great aura, I'll be honest. Famed diplomat Cedric Raphael has arrived in Varlovich to lead the country's diplomatic mission to Valent. During his stay, he will visit various political and economic leaders, as well as tour the country in an effort to improve relations. That's the different country. Royal visit. Police transfer. A new report released by the Rizia Imperii Businesswomen's Association, RIBA, reveals that despite the great strides our kingdom has made for women's rights, inequality persists in the job market. Men still earn significantly more than women, a gap that the RIBA report suggests can be surmounted with help of government intervention. I don't think that we're going to do that. It doesn't really seem like it makes sense for our nation. Anticipation runs high in Monteclar as the town people gather outside the fortress, which has been temporarily closed to prepare for King Romus' arrival. Accompanying the king is the Royal Chancellor of War and Internal Security, Lasitia Azaro. Meanwhile, General Carlos Robeles Azaro is planning an inspection of the adjacent cantonments, ensuring all preparations are in order. Okay. Duke Rico Toras of Rizia has requested a transfer of additional police forces to his direct control to crack down on the recent upswing in crime. Sure, why not? We'll give him the police transfer. I think that seems okay. And what's going on in the Scarlet Kingbird Festival? I don't even know what the hell that is. Okay, let's take a little sip. Every spring, the seaside town of Salebies celebrates the Scarlet Kingbird Festival. The vibrantly colored songbirds spent their winters in Xena, near the southern part of what used to be the Mossier Empire. Every spring, like clockwork, they flew back over the Gulf of Meridia to settle in Salibes. The return was celebrated with music, dancing, and lavish banquets, opened by a speech from the reigning Count or Countess of Sabels. It was tradition for the King of Rizia and his family to attend. The sun hung low in the sky over the arena Salibes, a 100-year-old open-air venue perched directly onto the beach. Bean and I sat waiting in the royal box as cameras flashed in our direction. My daughter impatiently tapped her fingers on the arm of her chair. We hadn't spoken much since Isa. Don't worry, it'll start soon. The program announced a special guest. I wonder who it'll be. The fanfare sounded from the pit orchestra, and a dark-haired woman stepped on stage. I recognized her as Leona Sazon, Countess of Salibes. Ladies and gentlemen, it is a great pleasure to welcome His High Majesty King Romus and Her Highness Princess Vina to our humble city. Even our special guest here today as well. It's been 25 years since my beloved cousin Angelica was sent into exile. Like all Sezons, I hold out hope that someday the king in his infinite generosity will bring her back to us. The Sazon matriarch. Yeah, nice try, Leona. Vina ignored me. She craned her neck to get a better view of the stage. Today we are graced with the presence of her child, Manus, heir to House Sazon, leader of the Rizian People's Party, and prodigal son of Brenes. The audience roared as Manus Sazon got on stage. This is no longer the nervous young man that I met in Port Drazon. He radiated confidence as he stepped up to the podium. Greetings, Salabines! He waited for the applause to subside, then held up a hand for the audience to listen. An entire arena fell silent. Excuse me. The story of the Scarlet Kingbird is a story about trust. Every year, this tiny feathered creature travels thousands of kilometers to reach our shores. He doesn't know what peril awaits him on the way to his destination, nor what sort of welcome will await him there. Yet he flies on, because doing something deep in his soul compels him to do so. An inner voice tells him, "This is your home." Is he talking about himself? Shh. Vina glared at me, then turned her full attention back to the man on stage. My daughter has the hots for what's his name? For Manus. By the way, great Dark Souls boss. Not a great politician. And what of those who wait for him? They have no idea where he's been, or how he knows to navigate to the exact same spot each time. Still, they gather here, scanning the skies at the first sight of his return. As if on cue, a solitary bird came flying towards us from over the horizon. Its plumage was bright red. A tear rolled down Manus' cheek. Trust is the only way any of this works. Even when we've given no reason, even when our faith is tested over and over. A second bird followed, and then a third. Would you let a Dark Souls boss marry your daughter? I think like, maybe like Capra Demon. He's got 2 lovely dogs. It's only when we place our trust in one another that we're able to find our way. The audience gasped at the sight over our heads, filled with hundreds and hundreds of kingbirds, their crimson feathers magnificently lit by the setting sun. Okay, I like this one. Keep your head down, Vina. Too much trust will get you a face full of shit. Don't be so crass, father. Vina sniffled. She had tears in her eyes as well. Once the sun had set and the birds had gone to roost, we made our way to the VIP reception in the neighboring pavilion. A big band was playing jazz music as Vina and I entered. We immediately found ourselves surrounded by local officials, celebrities, and members of the press. Is Manus the special guest? Why would he be the special guest? It was nearly an hour before I was able to sit down. Almost as soon as I parked myself in my chair, I noticed Manus Sazon making his way over to me. You know, that was some speech today. I see why your constituents love you. Manus smiled and bowed his head. The birds did most of the heavy lifting, but thank you, Your Majesty. I've actually been hoping to speak with you for a long time. Okay. So why don't you request an audience with me? He gave me a look that was equal parts hurt and puzzled. I did, through your Grand Vizier. The message must have gotten lost. But since we're both here right now, Your Majesty, I know what you and your family think of me, and I know that my position in government is symbolic at best. But I still think we have a chance to accomplish great things for this country. Okay. Alright, I'll indulge you. Tell me what you have in mind. Well, Your Majesty, I joined the House of Delegates because of Lucas Sazon. Because my father's rash act of violence robbed Rizia of its peaceful transition that it deserved. The rest of the RPP and I are in agreement. Our kingdom thirsts for reform. We can grant our people a voice without spilling a drop of blood. I mean, that sounds... Is that a threat? The kind of change you're talking about doesn't happen peacefully. Look how many corpses the century of revolution left in its wake. It didn't have to be that way. If the kings and queens of your father's generations had been willing to compromise, they might have kept their crowns. I envision a Rizia where the concerns of the commoners and nobles are given equal weight. Where an elected parliament makes the laws, but the royals retain their status and influence. I know I am taking a risk by suggesting this to you. But I believe that unless significant changes are made, we may face another uprising. Are you trying to threaten me? Certainly not, Your Majesty. Preserving the status of the Rizia nobility is as much in my family's interest as it is yours. But the commoners are tired of a ruling class that places its own desires above their own. Okay. Okay. What do you mean by that? I've only ever had the my people's needs at heart. Of course. But will your successor? Your successor? We've seen how risky it is to let the fate of the country rest on a single ruler. What are you trying to imply about my daughter, Mr. Suzerain? You believe that she's unfit to rule? Well, He took a handkerchief out of his pocket and dabbled his brow. I obviously chose the wrong venue for this conversation. There is no right venue. You should have bothered me in the first place. Okay. I love giving Ram Manas a hard time. Okay. No, you know, go on. What were you trying to tell me? Nothing. He stood up and pushed back his chair. If you excuse me, Your Majesty, I'm going to refresh my drinks. What a little baby. Wah. He turned around to head to the bar and came face to face with Vina, who was returning to our table. Her face was slightly flushed. Oh, excuse me, Mr. Suzerain. Nothing to excuse, Your Highness. I hope you're enjoying your time in Salibez. I was just speaking to the bartender. He's still trying to get the rest of the family out of Dirtia. I told him I'd see what I could do. Mana smiled warmly. That's very noble of you. But there are thousands like him. And not all of them are lucky enough to catch the Prince of Rizia at a benevolent moment. How drunk are you, Vina? You know, he's right. We gotta tackle this problem at the root, not by granting special favors. Vina ignored my remark. I can't believe my own daughter here. Your speech was beautiful, Mr. Suzerain. Actually, it reminded me of an essay of Queen Lysias from 1883 on social contracts, yes? That was one inspiration. What were the others? The band began playing Sweetheart of Vetri City, an upbeat tune that had recently reached us from Arcasia. You know what? Tell me after this dance. She took a step closer towards Manus and extended a hand towards him. He looked at me questioningly. Now, I will say, if I was in Manus' shoes, I would probably also be the exact same way, and I would immediately fold. It'd be like, oh, you know, nothing. It's just a joke. It's just a joke, Your Majesty. I love them. I love the king. You know what? Have more power. And you know what? I'd open my wallet and hand like $20 and be like, you know what? Take this just for the road. Just for you. Is this a bribe? No, I'm very embarrassed. I'm giving you a gift. Okay. You don't need my permission. Have fun out there. Vina beamed. Manus took her hand and rose from his seat. Wait. Is this faster than the dances I've been learning? Do you know the steps? As a matter of fact, I do. I'll walk you through it. He led Vina out on the dance floor. I could swear he had the faintest hint of a smirk on his face. If he did, Vina didn't notice. Camera flashes, the two of them started dancing. I wonder if the photographers were capturing a look in my daughter's eyes. It was the same one her mother had with given me during our first dance together. Well, I mean... meeting with Rusty. Pilgrims demand access. But I will say with that, again, gonna be a little bit of a shorter stream here. Because of that smirk, I never let him marry her. But I'll say with that for now, we're gonna call this a stream here.